Okay, I have an iPhone 6 here with, you can see the Apple logo. It's very, very faint, and but it does come up. So immediately you think this probably has something to do with the backlight filters or the diode or the diode coil, and possibly this display chip right here. So what I do is I take a multimeter and I tested the backlight filters first. You can see them, so we can zoom out here. So the backlight filters, there's 3 of them, and I'm going to take the tape off here. There's one right here, one right here, and one right here. They all tested fine. So, and usually with a backlight filter, the display doesn't go fully, like really, really dim. It'll go kind of like dark, but not really dim. So next step is to just kind of take a look at the diode, and you can tell it's like a little bit dark here. And there's actually a bead of solder on this puppy right here. So anyways, what I normally do is I just take a multimeter in diode mode and just kind of test the lines here. So first thing I did was test these capacitors, and you can tell it beeps on 3 of them. This one does not beep, and this one does not beep. Okay, so these 3 capacitors, and then I test this one as well. This is also a really, really small capacitor, and it beeps as well. So next I go to my ZXW tools and I see what it's all connected to, and all of these capacitors along with the diode, U1502, they're all in the same line. Okay, so if you look at it, it's going to be something along this line. Okay, it's probably something is shorted here. I don't know which one it is. So what I normally do is I just kind of look at it and which one looks problemed. And from the looks of it, I think it's probably the diode or this capacitor right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove both of those first and see if the short goes away on these capacitors. And if it does, then I'll just replace them, and we should be back in business. All right. So you want to tape as much as possible with capped on, and then, but don't get too close to it, otherwise your heat's not going to flow properly. There you go, just like that. And then what I like to do is just put a little heat sink around it. 2 nickels. They seem to fit best. Okay, so here we go. Got my higher gun set at 412, and I'm going to take this one off first. It's probably one of these 2 is my guess. You know what? I'm actually going to cut this a little bit first. Let me get this black stuff off of it. clean this up a little bit. Let's see. Let's try this puppy first. Okay, this works pretty good. So I'm just gonna. There you go. Oh, not fully. That might be just underfill that I got. Well, it's broken now, so. Yeah, I think this was shredded. Let me get my. One thing you don't want to do is rip the pads. Could already be ripped, but you definitely don't want to rip them. Okay, so it looks like the diode just disintegrated, so that was probably the problem. So the pads are still there. Maybe not. Hmm. Well, looks like the pad is gone, so I'm just gonna have to run a jumper to this puppy right here. It's not a big deal. Let me see if I can use this puppy to grab it out. I think there's underfill on here, that's why it's not coming out so easily. So let me just poke it a little bit. Let's use the hot air. Maybe a little easier. Be able to grab it. Alright, we're good. So what I'm going to do now is check the caps again to see if that was actually the problem or not. So it's not the problem. Something is still shorted. So let's take one of these caps out, I guess. These caps are a pain in the butt. That's not working. Might have to use heat. Let's try this. Could be the boost or the display IC as well. Could be. That's one. Let's test it again. Well, not looking good here. It's probably the boost IC. Número dos. Okay, so at this point, it's probably the boost IC right here. It's my guess. Because I don't think there's anything else. You can also check the caps here. So what I'll do is this. So this one doesn't beep when it's off. That doesn't beep when it's off. So I'll take the last one off and check that one too. Alright. So let's check this last cap here. Ha! It was the last one. What a dagger. You hear it? Alright. Always the last one. Okay, so what we can do is just put everything back together now. So that looks like that cap was shorted. And that was the problem. Never the first one. Ever. So let's clean this sucker up and start piecing it back together. And we're missing a pad there, so we'll have to fix that too. But that should be simple enough. Never the first one, ever. Clean this up a little bit. Before I start putting stuff back. Yeah! Alright. Put a little flux here. And we will tin the pads. And then get ready to get some new, tin the pads. Not too crazy. That's really about it. We don't want to go too crazy with that because it will become one big mess. Okay, so let's put the caps in first, and then we'll get, we will try to tin the small ones down there. You know what, I'll try to do it right now, actually. Okay. Clear away the old stuff. So hard to get in that crevice. I don't know what those little white balls are. Alright, let's put these caps back on first. Let's make sure I have the right one. Alright. Actually, let me go look for a cap. Alright, I got my caps. I'm going to blast them with the hot air, and we shall be able to get them back in place here. Okay, so I got 1, 2, 3. One's brand new. That's the one that's going to replace the one that's jacked up. So just want to make sure these don't stick together here. You know what? I'm going to put that in last. Oh, it done flew away. Alright, turn down the air. You know what? Let's see if it's easier with my tweezers. Maybe easier. More flux. I think with the hot air definitely easier. Let's look for my other cap first. It flew away somewhere here. Where'd he go? There it is. Damn, it flew far away. Alright, here you go. So let's just let's put it. Let's use the hot air. I think that's the best way to do it. Sucks. You don't want bridges. That's really what you don't want. Okay. So that should be pretty good. Just wait for my hot air. Uno, dos, tres. Alright, we're good. Alright, don't mess with it anymore. Okay, so let's check for short again. Alright, no more short. So we good. So let's get a diode out, and we'll get another small capacitor, and we should be good. Pause for a second. Alright, so I get all my parts from digikey.com, and you can buy the diode and all these capacitors right here. So I just bought a bunch of them, so I have them in stock already. So for the diode, for the capacitor, it's a 01005 size, so it's pretty tiny. So what I normally do is I'll just use solder paste and use my hot air gun to get it back in place. So for the diode, you just need to make sure that the cathode, which is the side with the line on it, is facing this way and connected to the capacitor. Okay, that's really the only thing you need to do. Okay, so I'm going to do that right now. Alright, so let's put a little bit on there. And I'm going to get my little soldering pencil, and I'm going to see if I can get it started first before I heat it up and put some solder paste on it. I just want to get it to hold in place a little bit. So I'm going to have to run a jumper for this one, so. And then this one, I'm really just going to, it's such a pain in the butt to get in there, so I'm just going to try to see if I can wiggle it in place, and then, like I said, use some solder paste and a hot air gun. I mean, I think that's the easiest way because it slides right into place right when you get it in there. But I'm gonna heat it up real quick first, just to get some of that flux away. Alright, so I don't think I actually got that diode in place where I wanted it to be. So let's try it again. All right, and all right, let's get my Kester. It's EP256. I think it's 6337 tin to lead solder paste. And what I normally do is I just take a really, really small amount. Since this is a 01005 component, I'm talking about just the tip of my tweezer here. And all I really need is a fraction of that, really. So just like that, really. That's about all you need. So get my hot air gun here, see if I can just position it in place, and then I'll be good. It's not. I think I put a little too much flux on it earlier. All right, it's kind of moving. See if I can get access to it somehow. It's such a pain in the butt. Just gotta keep rotating it until you find a good spot where you can work on it. There you go. And you really just wanna just like that. All right, now you can heat it, and it should. You can probably put a little flux on there now too, but oh, let's do this. All right. Let's try it. There it goes. Slides. Ugh. The pad on the bottom wasn't really tinned well. But if I just go like that a little bit, there it goes. It's tinned now, so if I can just get it in place now. No! Alright. Alright, try again. Just not connecting. I want to make sure I don't burn this chip up right here. Alright, let's see if we can tin this pad, because we are failing here. That's the big problem. Alright. Try this again. But where did my component go? That's not a good solder joint. That's not good. What I'm gonna do is, it's just too much junk in there. Alright, that's pretty good. So let's test the continuity between the diode and the cap. This and this. I think I'll have to run a wire through it. Let's clean it up first though. Alright. Let's just do this. Probably should have tinned it first. There we go. And move it over a little bit. Oh, dagger. No! Micro soldering for you. Alright, that's good. One more time with the multimeter, and we should be good. Alright. So this was shorted before. No longer shorted. Make sure there's continuity from here to here. think we're good. So let's fire this bad boy up and give it a go.